Hi, welcome to Spotlight, your story, their lifeline, a mother-to-mother podcast. I'm Mimi.
And I'm Dobra, and together we are your hosts. In this mother-to-mother podcast, you will meet women sharing their stories of struggle, triumph, and hope. Our aim is to ensure that no woman ever feels alone.
Through their brave storytelling, these women become lifelines for others on their own journeys. So join us as we dive into the incredible stories that inspire and empower.
Welcome to Spotlight, where your story becomes a lifeline. Before we start today's episode, we want to thank our sponsor this month, AlPiDarko.
AlPiDarko is an online parenting program made up of short, focused sessions combining Torah sources with psychological approaches to help parents understand their children's behaviour through a relationship-based and mindset-focused approach.
At the core of the program is helping adults develop the skills to build their children's self-esteem and resilience.
Instead of relying on rules, punishments, or quick fixes, it really helps parents shift how they view behaviour and how they respond, showing how our reactions as adults impact a child's emotional security, self-esteem, and cooperation.
Parents go at their own pace and have that special one-to-one connection with the director and founder, Mrs. Nemeth, a phenomenal educator with decades of experience educating children and running schools across the UK.
Alongside that, through structured courses and guided sessions, parents get practical tools they can use right away to reduce power struggles, strengthen connection, and support healthy emotional development.
There's a big focus on awareness, clarity, and staying calm, so parents feel confident and consistent, and children feel understood, safe, and capable of positive change.
The goal is calmer homes, stronger relationships, and children growing up with a real sense of self-worth.
And they're offering Spotlight listeners £50 off if you register before Pesach. Just enter Spotlight26 at checkout.
We'll put all the details in the show notes, and now let's get into today's episode. Hi, welcome to Spotlight. Pesach is just around the corner, which means for many of us, cupboards, clearing, sorting, and now at this time of recording, I'm starting to feel the dread creeping in. It's coming. So by the time the episode actually airs, then you'll probably all be knee deep in those cupboards, in the kitchen, cleaning. Some of you with Pesach kitchens might actually be cooking. So this is the perfect episode, and we have the perfect guest. So welcome Ellie, who doesn't just organize your home. She's not an organizer. She's a minimalist, and she'll teach you how to just get rid of everything, how to truly declutter in a way that actually lasts. So with Pesach coming around and we're trying to get rid of all the chametz and everything, hopefully this episode will help you clear out more than that and make the process feel a little bit lighter, more satisfying, and actually you might even enjoy it. So Ali, welcome. Welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you for having me all the way from Golders Green, England.
We are actually in
very
Edgware.
Honored. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. We were talking about Golders Green before that.
I know.
But thank you for having me.
Have you ever been
London.
to Edgware?
I have been to Edgware. There's some restaurants, aren't there? Some kosher restaurants
That's
there?
all you came to Edgware for? The restaurants?
Yes.
What restaurants are in Edgware?
Aviv,
You're right.
Pizzazza,
Yeah. I mean, they have them in Golders Green as well.
I know. It's like interesting you came to Edgware for the restaurants.
They're in Golders Green as well.
Yes, I know. We got to. When you're going to England, you got to check any Jewish community. You got to check it all out.
Yeah,
Make sure
definitely.
you like it all.
I highly recommend everyone coming to visit Edgware. It is a beautiful place, beautiful community. It's very green. It's really nice. So, yeah, that's our shout out to Edgware. And we do record from Edgware. So, Ellie, you're all the way in Israel. Welcome.
Where are you in
Yes,
Israel now?
Jerusalem, Ramat Eshkol. It's a very American community in
I know Ramat Eshkol.
Yerushalayim, Yer Kodesh.
Very nice.
Blessed to be living there.
How many years
For
have
nearly
you? Yeah.
Almost 15 years.
Wow.
It's a dream. We're very lucky. Baruch Hashem.
Oh, you are very lucky. I am a little bit jealous, if I do say so. I mean, then you'd be like, so move
Every
here.
Jew, no.
You know?
Every Jew should feel that pang of jealousy. It's like, this is where we belong.
Yeah.
So the ones who are Zocha get to live here. Baruch Hashem. We're here. Mitzvah Hashem to all of you.
Exactly. Amen. Okay, so welcome. And just before we start, then, before we get into it, then tell us a little bit about yourself. Who you are, we know where you're from now, but, a little bit more.
Start at the beginning.
Okay, so my name is Ellie Azarad, and I was an overwhelmed young mother of 3 kids. And I remember one day looking around and being like, is this what I prayed for my entire life? To be a mother, to have beautiful children, to raise a family. And all day long, I just feel like I'm consistently following and chasing my to-do list. And no matter how much I'm doing, it's never done. And I'm collapsing into bed at night just to start over the same exact thing the next day. The laundry, the dishes, the cleaning, the organizing, the tidying, the putting away. And I was like, I can't believe it. And I remember asking a bunch of older friends of mine and older mentors, is this it? And they all said, yeah, wait till your kids grow up. When your kids grow up, then you'll be able to have time for them. You'll be able to enjoy them. You'll be able to have a tidy home. And I was like, I don't want to wait for my kids to grow up to be able to enjoy this all. I want to enjoy my life this second, right here, right now. And during this whole stage, when I was having this like little identity, I guess, crisis, I was in the playroom, and this is really where my story begins. I was in the playroom and I was looking at the toys, and I was tidying it up for literally the third time that week. And I remember looking at all the toys on the floor and just thinking, no system in the world is going to be able to fix this. No matter how good I am at tidying, at labeling, at sorting, no bins and baskets are going to be able to help my problem because I have too much stuff. I just need to get rid of all of it. And that is actually literally, quite literally, what I did. I took massive duffel bags. Now we don't even have suitcases.
Wait, can I pause you here? Can I pause you here?
Yes.
I just want to pause on that moment. So you're completely overwhelmed. Were you a naturally organized person?
Yes, I was naturally organized. Maybe that was also the issue, that I was consistently organizing again and again. Every day, here's my planner. So every day would have Sunday, Monday, organize the pantry on Sunday, organize the playroom on Monday, organize the girls' closet on Wednesday, organize my bedroom on Thursday. And every single week, every day, I was doing another organizing project. And so every area of my home was getting tidied once a week. And I just remember thinking, this is crazy. This is never going to end. I'm going to be spending my entire life tidying up spaces and organizing spaces and coming up with better systems, installing better cabinets or better shelves, getting better bins. Like always, I was always chasing the next better bin. Like, oh, this hack is going to fix my problem. And this hack is going to fix my problem. This course is going to fix my problem. This book is going to fix my problem. And I didn't want, and people just said, just chill with it. It's going to be okay. And when your kids are, young adults, that's when you're going to start being able to really enjoy life. And I really didn't want to wait for then. I think that's a pretty miserable existence, to put your life on hold because you're busy in the chaos of motherhood. Motherhood is beautiful, and I wanted to experience the beauty of motherhood while I was going through that, while I was in the rough of things.
Would you say that you're kind of not in competition, but kind of could end the careers of home organizers?
For sure. Hold on one second. I have no problem even being known as the woman that ended the careers of home organizers. I mean that.
Right.
I mean that wholeheartedly. But it's interesting because I do train women to be home organizers because people are not familiar with a professional declutterer. So I tell the women that I train, even though you are professional declutterers, people are not familiar with that term yet. We don't need people to come and organize our homes. I'm gonna say if I'm a professional organizer, it's a very great business because I'm going to come back to your home once a month, all the time. Yeah. You're never going to be done organizing because I'm going to create you systems and they're going to look beautiful and Instagram worthy. Then I'm going to leave your home, and in a month, 2 months, maybe even a week, the entire system is going to be messy again. And you're going to be like, help, come back to my house because the labels, the kids pulled off all the labels. Or you file folded everything so perfectly and so beautifully, but my kids, my husband, my cleaning lady, we can't even maintain the systems that you left. My whole my whole policy is strip it down so tremendously, so drastically that even your 2-year-old could clean up. And when you say clean up, they understand what you mean because it's so easy and so quick. There's no lids. I'm very into that. Imagine if, let's say, you had to put back, let's say you collected a bunch of, I'm holding right now a glass jar because I'm drinking from a glass jar. But let's say I tell you to put back all your balls into the glass jar, and you have to take off the lid, unscrew the lid. So guys, you're all listening to this, you don't see this, but I'm demonstrating with the glass jar. You unscrew the lid. So your kid has to calmly unscrew the lid. Then go get the balls, then put them inside the jar, and then get the lid again, and then screw the lid back on, and now he's finished. That's 3 steps. Instead of just toss the balls and all the toys, because we don't have so many toys. So toss all the toys into this one bin. That's very easy for the child. And so what we're doing over here is we're simplifying so tremendously that our systems are easy. Even our kids, our cleaning ladies, and obviously ourselves could be able to do it very quickly and very, in a very, very short amount of time. I definitely am ending careers of professional organizers because I feel like a lot of them are not doing something fair. Women come to me after they've already hired 3-4 professional organizers. Women come to me after they've already taken other courses, a lot of them very expensive. That's when they come to me and I'm like, you're my last stop. You will never have to do this again because we're dealing with the problem. And I want to make a very important differentiation. Guys, let me know if I'm talking too much. I love this stuff.
No, this is great.
I want to make a very important differentiation between professional organizing and minimalism.
I think that there's like kind of like a middle road that even however minimalist you are, you can still be messy and still be disorganized. And I think that someone needs a little bit of both. You need to have that organizer and you have to have that minimalist. And I think a lot of organizers do have that aspect that they teach. We had someone on our podcast, Debbie Pasta, and she talks about how to get rid of things. She also talks about how you need to, she had stories of people she managed to get bin bags, garbage bags, as you would say, of stuff, just get rid. So I'm sure there are organizers out there that do both, but there's still like, there's loads. There are organizers that really just focus. I see people's pictures, you know, of what they've done, and they look like they have a lot of stuff. They still do look like they have a lot of stuff. And I'm imagining from this episode that we're going to hear about your story and about how you came to this and how you don't want anyone to have any stuff. Like you literally have the bare minimum of, or that's not true?
No, it's kind of like the opposite of hoarding. Basically.
So I'll explain that. There's a lot of professional organizers that know what they're doing. They come in and they declutter first. The differentiation between minimalism and decluttering is that when you declutter, you're looking at a big basket of stuff. I should have brought props, but you're looking at a big basket of stuff and you're saying, what can I get rid of in this big, huge basket? Okay? What can I get rid of? Because I want to make it a little bit more tidy and a little bit more room to breathe inside this big, huge basket. In decluttering, in minimalism, you're saying, I don't need this entire basket. I'm going to get rid of this entire basket. And now, oh wait, I think I actually do need 1 pot from that basket. And I think I also do need 6 plates from that basket. It's not extreme. It's whatever works for your family. So for your family, that might be 12 plates. For my family, that might be 6 plates. If you host 30 guests and you don't use any disposable, then for you, that might be 30 plates. That's okay for you to bring that in. But you're not bringing back any of the extra. And in organizing, a lot of times what happens is let's try to make everything fit into your space. And so they might declutter a little bit, which is great. A garbage bag, 2 garbage bags, even 10. Over here, we're decluttering 70% of the stuff in your home. Why? Because I want you to be able to be messy. I want you to be able to be not tidy. I want your kids to be able to dump out everything in their closet. And you're going to come into that room and you're not going to be overwhelmed. And when you're not overwhelmed, you could expect your kids also to tidy it up. When it's not overwhelming, all of a sudden you could say, hey kids, you just made a huge mess with your closet. Go pick it up. And it's very, very easy for your kids to pick up because there's not complicated systems. Everything is just clearly labeled. And I go very in depth, like further on in like my courses and things, but we don't even fold laundry anymore because there's so few items. They just get tossed into bins. And so your children have their pajamas in a bin, their uniform in a bin. Obviously, if it gets wrinkled, it can't go in a bin. Their uniform is their pinafore. I'm sorry, the pinafore has to get hung up. But anything that goes to school can go into a bin. Their t-shirts can go into a bin. Pants need to get hung up. Skirts need to get hung up. But therefore, it's such simple systems and so few items that they're able to do this on their own. And that's the point, that even when your home is messy and disorganized and quote unquote a flying mess, it'll take 10-15 minutes to pick it up again.
So you were at that state that you were sitting in your playroom and you were a very organized person. You had everything all in the bins. It was all labeled. It was all, which is already a step up from a lot of people. I mean, I don't have that. You know, like it is what it is in my house. So, you know, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that as well. And I'm sure a lot of people who are organized, you know, they have their systems and it works. But you were organized, you were sitting there and you were still like, I don't want to do this every day. I don't want to do this every day, tidying up and putting things in, organizing things, keeping it up. So you're saying that like, even when once someone is organized, you still have to keep it up. And it's still, and if you're not naturally like that, you can't keep it up. So what did you do then? Like, what was your mind? What was your mind? Like, where did you go then?
Even with you, that you're not naturally organized, at the end of the day, no matter how much it doesn't affect you, you still, as the woman of the home, are responsible for keeping the home tidy. So it could be that you're hiring a cleaning lady to come and do it for you every single day. It could be you're telling your children that's creating very resentful children, right? To do it for you every single day. But at the end of the home, it's on us, the headache and the the mental burden is on us as women, right? And so even if it doesn't bother us, even if we don't care, we're still doing this. And I didn't want to be doing this. So for women out there that are thinking, oh, this is not for me because I'm not organized, it's not about being organized. It's about, I don't want to be managing my stuff in my home anymore. I just want to be doing the bare minimum, which means laundry, dishes, and then having my kids be able to be in charge of their spaces, and I'm in charge of the communal spaces in the home. And I also want to be able to go into a space, and even when it's messy, obviously things get messy. Baruch Hashem, thank God I have children, right? And they create messes. That's okay. I know when I look at the messes in my home, this is very easy for me to pick up and put back together again. It's not overwhelming, and it doesn't need to be this whole complicated several-hour process every week for me to be able to put the home back together again. Like,
at that time, you literally stopped and got rid of everything? Like, how did it come? What was the process?
So I went to the playroom and I looked at it and I said, that's it, I'm done dealing with toys. I don't want to deal with the toys for the rest of my life. And so I took 8 duffel bags, those are like suitcases, and I filled up these 8 duffel bags with all the contents of our playroom, dumped it all out into the 8 duffel bags, and then I cleaned out the space because it was empty, right? So it hadn't been dusted or cleaned in a while, right? In a couple weeks. So I cleaned it all out. And then I looked at all these duffel bags, all these suitcases, and I said, what in here do I truly, truly, truly need in my life right now? What do I truly need? Okay, I have a few girls. So they need some toy dishes. They need some dolls. They need some tutus. They don't need 15 tutus. They need 3 or 4 tutus. They don't need 20 dolls. They need 2 to 3 dolls, right? And so from this huge thing that I got rid of, right, quote unquote got rid of by putting it in the duffel bags, I pulled out a couple of items. And then 90% of the things in the playroom went into these duffel bags. I zipped it up and I took it all and I put it inside. Our building has something called a maklat. A maklat is like a safe shelter. Where we can put things. This was back then before a war in Israel. We're able to store things. Now, you can all use your shed, your garage, I don't know, garage. How do you guys say that?
Garage.
A garage.
Garage, your attic, right? But it's going out of your sight, right? And so I wasn't sure if I'm going to be making a mistake. I was like, maybe I'm going to regret this. Let me pretend that I'm on vacation. What would I bring with me on vacation? What am I taking back from these things that I just got rid of, right? And I pulled back all the important things. Everything else went into this, into the miklat, into our store, in our safe space. And I said, I'm going to see how it goes. It was transformative. Within 3 weeks, I was getting rid of even more things because it was so amazing. The next day, all the kids in our building were playing in our playroom. And when they dumped out all the toys, of course I wasn't overwhelmed because it took 5 minutes for the kids to tidy up because they had so few stuff. They started playing for hours and hours. They started being so much more creative about what they were doing with the toys. Like all of a sudden they were doing they were taking the Playmo, the Magna-Tiles, and they were creating pizza with it. So they didn't need their 3 pizza games. Like we had a pizza game, Melissa and Doug pizza game, and we had a pizza different game, right? They were being really, really creative with the minimal things that they had, and they were playing for really long periods of time. Obviously, I was like, this is so interesting, and I researched it, and this is based on research, right? I didn't know this at the time. Based on research, children that have fewer options play for longer periods of time. And you guys can all Google this. It's crazy. They did a study where they gave children 4 toys. A group of children got 4 toys and a group of children got 12 toys. The group of children that had only 4 toys were much more creative and played for longer periods of time. So that was really cool. Anyways, I got rid of all the things, right? And I loved this so much. And I said, okay, I'm going to do this to the rest of my home. The same method. And this is where I developed my 3-step method.
What was your children's reaction to that? You know, I'm thinking to myself, like, if I would do this and I would want to say to my children, you know, do you want to choose what you would want to play with? But you did this yourself. So how did your children react to that?
They actually, at that point, my children were actually in the playroom with me. I actually was crying doing this because I was so fed up with decluttering, with tidying. I was so fed up, and I was so like, I cannot believe that I'm going to have to wait another 15 years to be able to enjoy my kids. I wanted to go to the beach that day, actually. We had a car, and I saw the car outside saying, come to the beach. It was a gorgeous day. This was actually in Shvat, like February time, beautiful weather, and I really wanted to go to the beach that day. And I told my kids we're going to go to the beach that day. And so I was so frustrated that instead of me being able to have a great time with my girls at the beach, I needed to be tidying up. And I was very frustrated, and I was crying, and they were with me, the kids, and they just watched me through the process. And I said, you know what, guys, we're trying this out. We're pretending that we're on vacation. Because I want everyone to think about when you are on vacation with your kids and you may not have lots of toys and options. All of a sudden, your kids are super creative. Think about when you're at the beach and you didn't bring toys to bring at the beach. Your kids are finding seashells and feathers and sand, and they're busy for hours with whatever's there. And so I really wanted to create the same experience in my home. I was like, why do I feel like I need to run away in order to have my best life? I want my best life to be inside my own home. And so we got rid of the toys, and I explained to the kids what we're doing. We're pretending that we're on vacation. Our home is going to be a vacation rental now. Let's see what we really need with us in the vacation rental. Now, we didn't get rid of it all permanently. They knew that it was going to the basement. I said, if you guys want it, we'll go get it. Let's just try this out. They loved it. They loved it so much that about a couple weeks later, they added more toys into the miklat, into the storage area. And then when I did their closets, they were like, just do it for us. Like, we want to get rid of everything. Get rid of everything. This is so amazing. It's so much fun for us. The independence that they had because they were able to, and the feeling of we're capable, confidence that it gave them, that we're able to tidy up the playroom. When mommy says tidy up, we know exactly what she means, and it's super, super easy. We can do this. It's manageable. It takes us 5 minutes. It was transformative for them. It was transformative for my neighbors, for the kids that came to play in my playroom. I loved it so much, and so I ended up developing this whole concept of what we did in the playroom.
I'm curious to hear, like, what was your husband's reaction to this?
Oh, no. He was like, here she goes again. Ellie Sheva and her crazy ideas. She's going to come crying back to me in about 3 weeks or maybe 3 days or 3 hours that she did a big, huge mistake and she regrets us all. And we're going to have to go on a massive shopping spree. He was not supportive. He's used to me. I do crazy things. So he was like, whatever, here she goes again. And he said, whatever you do, we're not buying everything again. So you got to figure this out, because if you regret this, I'm not going in a massive shopping spree. And so what ended up happening, obviously, is he realized how amazing this was for my mental health, for my parenting, for my marriage, for my relationships with everyone, for my relationships with God. Like, he realized how transformative this was. We ended up doing his space as well, but it took him time. And so what I did do, though, I don't know, like, I'm jumping all over the place.
Yeah, no,
what I did do
I want to ask you.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to, like, put my finger on what is it about having so few things that helps your marriage, helps your kids, helps your sanity? What is it? What is the actual reason that when you don't have things, and I'm not even talking about clutter because you were organized. You actually were tidy and organized. So I'm not talking about somebody who's a big mess. I'm talking about someone who's organized, but still having few things helped your life in every way possible.
I could share 1,000 reasons how it helped my life. But first of all, I'll share the scientific reason. So you guys are going to believe me that this is real stuff. Okay? Scientifically, women are more impacted by their surroundings than men. This is scientifically proven. They did a study where they tested the cortisol levels. Cortisol is the stress hormone, and it could be tested in women's saliva. So they did a study where they put women in, very messy environments, and they tested how their saliva was. And then they put the women in, tidy, clean environments, and they tested their saliva again for cortisol, right? The cortisol levels in the messy environments were way higher, significantly higher. I don't have the numbers, but anyone could check out the study. Very interesting. Were a lot higher than the women that were in the cleaner environments, more tidy environments. So scientifically, we react to our environments a lot more than our husbands do. And I'm sure many women could relate to this. Like, your husband will be like, hey, honey, you want to go out now? And you'll say, no, 1 minute, I need to clean up the house. Or, hey, do you want to talk to me right now? And you're like, give me a second, I got to wash the dishes first, right?
Yeah,
because
we see it also when it comes to, like, seminaries and yeshiva dormitories. If you compare the two, you're going to see straight away. I think
that men...
Yeah, men... well, there's not really anything to say,
Well, actually, I think it depends.
And of course it's going to be... No, in every study, there's going to be exceptions to the rules.
There are some very messy seminary rooms.
Yes. No, there are, for sure. There's always going to be exceptions, but this is a general. Yeah. This is in a general as a whole, right? So it impacts us much more than it does our homes, our men. Also, we are in a culture where at the end of the day, the home is our pride and joy, which is a beautiful thing. We are, in Hebrew, it's called the Akaras Habayis. We bring down God's presence through our homes, and we do that through the mundane things. And it's a very, very beautiful privilege that we have to be able to do this. And we want to make sure that our homes are a very holy, simplified, beautiful space that no matter where our family is during the day, they have a place, a grounding place to come home to that is tidy, that is simplified, that is calm. With the woman of the home, because we are the Akaras Habayis, we are the foundation of our homes, where the woman of the home is a solid, happy, calm presence. And we do that by simplifying our homes. And I love telling women the example of, did you think that the Bet HaMikdash, do we think that the Holy Temple was cluttered? Of course it wasn't. You can read in an entire Torah, right? It tells us exactly what was inside it, where it was, the laws, the rules on how to run the Holy Temple. And our job is to take that and elevate it and create a holy temple inside our homes. And the way we do it is by simplifying, by having rules, by having structure, by having routine. That's how we do it. And so anyways, that was the scientific and, I guess, spiritual element of how this impacts us. So obviously our cortisol levels drop. When our cortisol levels drop, our stress drops. So as soon as we start decluttering, our stress drops. When our stress drops, we stop being as reactive as we are before. We stop crying as much. We stop being as snappy as much, because a lot of times we're crying and we're overwhelmed and we don't even realize why we're crying and overwhelmed, why we are snappy. We are snappy because we are impacted by our environment. Our environment is saying, oh, fight or flight, fight or flight. There's danger, there's danger. Why? Because the cortisol level is telling us danger, danger, danger. Our home is a danger, our home is a danger. And so we're constantly in this reactive mode because we're stressed, we're overwhelmed. And so by simplifying it, we're getting rid of we're lowering our cortisol, our flight and fight response. Okay, and then we're starting to be more calm. Then it's going to impact our marriage because we are a calmer wife. When our husband says, hey, you want to chill? We're like, sure, we can chill. We're not overwhelmed by stuff anymore. When our kids say, want to tell us about their day in school, we're not multitasking because we're overwhelmed by the living room. Yeah. And so as we're talking to them, we're not busy putting away things and puttering around. We can actually connect one-on-one conversation because we're not overwhelmed by the things. And even when our homes are messy, right now as I talk to you, I'm sure that my main areas of my home are pretty not tidy right now, right? I'm not overwhelmed at all because I know it'll just take me 5 minutes. It's not a big deal. Like, it'll take me 5 minutes. It's not a big deal. And so even when it's not so tidy, it's okay. It'll take us 5 minutes to put back together. How else does it impact us? Crazy stuff.
I'm interested in how you lost weight with that.
Yes, I was going to say, trigger warning for anyone that this can't hear about, like, weight things. Do you guys have to make those triggers? Probably.
You did it for us.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, but was very powerful things. What happened when I initially did my massive decluttering is that I lost organically about 6 kilos.
Is that because you're busy schlepping everything out the house?
So, right. So you could say that. Like, you could say I was doing a lot of physical work, but I'm in general, I'm a very active person. I run every day. I eat healthy, right? So it was very interesting. And I filed it away as, this is interesting. Okay, whatever, right? Then I started giving courses in this. And as I was giving the courses, it's a 6-week course. And I used to give it live in my home. So women would come the first week. And by the 5th, 6th week, I started seeing that they're getting slimmer. And I thought, I guess this is a lot of physical work and we're all just losing weight, right? What ended up happening after a few series is women would say, this is so interesting, we're losing weight. And then I would reach back to old students and say, did you guys like actually lose weight on the scales, right? And they all said, not all. The women that lost weight all were like, it was so interesting. Like, this stubborn fat that hasn't left us in many years that we always attributed to, like, oh, that's just baby fat that we got from having children, is all of a sudden melting away. This is really interesting. Then recently somebody sent me a study where it said that when human beings get rid of stress, fat melts away along with it. Why? Because when we are stressed, stress is the cortisol hormone, right? When we are in a stressful environment, our body is saying we need to survive, we need to survive. And so what it does when it needs to survive is it hoards fat, right? It hoards fat. It holds body fat onto the body because it says this woman is in danger. We need to hold on to some sort of fat because she is consistently in danger. And so it holds the fat. So as we were getting rid of the danger,
she may need it for later. Yeah.
Yes.
Really
so as we were getting rid of the danger, right? As we were getting rid of the danger, which was our clutter, our body was saying, oh, she's more relaxed. She's more relaxed. Let's get rid of her fat as well because she doesn't need to have reserves of fat. So they were losing weight. And this was fascinating stuff, guys. So I remember when I looked at it, I was like, this is crazy because I saw it with my own eyes. I saw it with myself, and then I saw it with dozens of students. Like, this was happening to them as well. And I was like, okay, now I can explain why this is happening. So that was really cool. And now, obviously, this impacts also your intimacy. It impacts your meeting, right? Because your bedroom is tidied up. It impacts your dating, your ability to go on dates with your husband and your children. Because, again, you're not weighed down with things. It impacts your ability to host guests, to allow friends to just pop in, right? Instead of being like, oh, my house is so messy, I can't meet her in my house, let's meet out for coffee. You can say, come pop by my, come swing by my home today. I'm so excited to see you, right? It impacts our cooking. What was very interesting is that as soon as I decluttered, we started eating more as a family together every night. Why? Because my kitchen was so simplified. It was so easy to make dinners. Obviously, it impacted my cooking as well because it was easier to start cooking in a simplified kitchen. Again, I did the same thing what I did with the playroom. I made my kitchen into an Airbnb. What do I really need when I'm on vacation? And I stripped it down so significantly that it was, think about it, a lot of us, like, I know this, a lot of women can relate to this. When they're on vacation, in like a self-catering vacation thing, they find themselves cooking a lot more. It's a lot more easy because they don't have so many options. It's not overwhelming. It's lots of fun. Right? And so we did the same thing with my kitchen. And so I started cooking more. And then because my living room, dining room situation was so simplified, dinners started becoming a family event. My kids even put candles on the table. Like, they make a whole,
you allowed to have candles?
We can have candles. My older girls are 3. They're so cute. They make it romantic. They're so cute.
And as in, like, you're allowed to have candles. You didn't get rid of it?
Oh, yes. So you keep the things that are going to enhance your life. And it happens to be that I did declutter the candles. That
they're
was
gone
not
now.
something that
Now they're gone.
Right. Because I thought that wasn't going to enhance my life. Why do I need this? I have lights, I have, lamps, right? But then what happens is you start realizing, oh, I simplify my home so much. I could have a little bit of extras. I can have something that's going to enhance my life tremendously. And so I got candles. I did get rid of all the throw pillows and decorative stuff in my home. And slowly over the years, I began to be like, I'm handling my home. Let me bring in some more decor. Let me bring in some throw pillows for the couch, right? But initially I got rid of it all because I couldn't manage it. I was done managing it. But as I'm seeing that I could manage things, so I'm allowing more things into my life. But at this point, I'm the boss. I get to dictate what gets allowed into my home. And if I decide tomorrow, no, you know what? Forget it. I don't want to manage you anymore. I don't want you to be in my home or my life anymore. Out you go. And this is very powerful, by the way. Like, I'm training my kids to be okay with letting go. Letting go doesn't just mean physical things. Letting go means emotional. It means mental. Right? And so by training our children to be able to be okay with letting go of very easy, cheap, physical stuff, we're building their letting go muscles. And eventually they're going to be good at letting go of a toxic relationship. They're going to be good at letting go of a mental thought that's not good for them. They're going to be, negative thoughts. They're going to be good at letting that go as well because they understand what it means to let go of, and they've built up that muscle of letting go in the physical sense.
It's interesting because even when you're in your kitchen at home, when you think of the tools that you actually use when cooking, it's always the same few, right?
But you have all those extra ones.
You have all those extra
in the
ones
cupboard underneath.
Yeah, and it's like you always pick out the same few, and you're like, well, I don't need the rest of them.
I have my favorite pot. I have my favorite frying pan. I have my favorite. I have my favorite of everything, and those are the ones that I use, and everything else is just underneath.
You're touching on an amazing point. So when we do the kitchens, so basically this method that I developed,
let's hear about this method. Let's go. Okay. I know that there's a few steps.
Okay, but then I need to tie it into the kitchen. 1 second. Before that, I want to tie it in with what you said with the kitchen.
We'll be right back to this episode. Hi, I'm Danielle, a founder of Mother to Mother, an organization that supports and empowers women on their motherhood journey. We offer a wide range of services to make sure that every mother can thrive. From emotional support services to mother and baby groups, practical help, health information, a community kitchen, and much more. Mother to Mother builds communities of women to support each other. By tuning into our podcast, you have joined the Mother to Mother family today. Welcome and enjoy the episode.
So basically, we're going to get into the kitchen in a second, but when I did my playroom, I realized this was so amazing because what I did was I developed Frum Minimalism, which is my brand. Frum is religious Jew. Frum Minimalism for religious Jews, obviously because we have a lot of things. We need more things than smaller families might need, or families that don't keep kosher might need, right? So I realized that what I did is I did a 3-step method. Number 1, I emptied out the entire space. I emptied out the entire playroom. Number 2, I cleaned the playroom. Now it was completely empty, like there was nothing in it, like I just moved today, right? So it was completely empty. I cleaned it out. Number 3, I looked at all the things that I just got rid of and I said, what do I need into my life that deserves to come back into my life? And I invited back, that's what I call it. I invited back things that deserve to come back into my life. That's the 3-step method. It was so amazing, right? So I did the same thing for my kitchen. I got rid of everything in my kitchen. I cleaned my kitchen. Step 1 was got rid of everything. Step 1. Step 2 is I cleaned my kitchen. Step 3, I looked at all this stuff and I said, what are my favorites from here? Exactly what you say. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm not even going to open them, and I'm going to label off my favorite items. What are my favorite items? Those are the ones that I can label off very, very quickly. I need that. I need this. I need that. I need that. I for sure need so I remember saying, I for sure need one immersion blender. Immersion blender is like that Jewish thing. I for sure need my Ninja because I make smoothies every day. I for sure need that one favorite frying pan. I for sure need my big, huge chicken soup pot because I make chicken soup a lot, right? I did not label off a bunch of other frying pans. I even didn't label off my grill. I had a grill frying pan to grill like in my home. I didn't. So those things did not get
That's what's
back.
going through my head right now. I am going through all my frying pans right now in my head and thinking, that grill one, I don't use it. That can go.
Out. Right out. But instead of us looking at, and this is where it's backward decluttering, because instead of us looking at all the frying pans and saying, which one am I willing to get rid of? And then you're like, but I like this one, but I like this one, but I like this one. We're getting rid of it all, and we're saying, which one do I really need back into my life? And so I invited back the ones that I really needed. And what we do also with clients, like pretend that, let's say you were my client, right? I would tell you, you only get to invite back the things that you could easily recall within a minute. And I'll say you have a minute to recall all your items that you love. And if you can't recall it, chances are you really don't need that. And so we're going to box it up. Now, what we did also, because we boxed it up and we didn't give it away or give it to a donation center that day, is something that I call a cannot decide bin. A cannot decide bin means that when you're not sure about certain items, like, do I really need this? Is this going to be a mistake? Are my kids going to be upset at me? Is my husband going to be upset at me? We put it into something called the cannot decide bin, and we give ourselves a time frame. So I usually tell women in between 6 weeks to 3 months. We give ourselves a time frame. And if I don't miss these items in the next 6 weeks, 3 months, whatever it is that you decided, then I'm going to get rid of it all. I'll donate the entire box of items. That way you're giving yourself some leeway in case someone in your family or yourself might be like, oof, why did I get rid of that? That was a mistake.
Right. You're so nice.
It's amazing.
You're so nice.
I am.
I'm like thinking
But
like
there's a lot of rules.
I'm like thinking this is very, very controlling, right? This is the way it's going, and it's very much on the mother of the house, right? But then like you've got that little leeway, like, okay, if you're missing it a little bit, then you can have it back. It's okay. So there's a little bit. So that's amazing.
How come you drink from a jug?
I'm just thinking you probably got rid of all your cups, right?
Yeah, like I'm thinking that as well.
I did. We try not to use plastic. This was very interesting side effect, by the way, of minimalism, is that you think that now I have so much time, so I'm going to use disposable, and I'm going to, you think that I'll be maybe more wasteful because I don't want to waste time in the kitchen. Instead, I actually enjoy being in the kitchen more. I enjoy washing dishes more. And so, anyways, I'm drinking from this because I got rid of, obviously we don't have any plastic anymore, but really not unless we're like hosting a lot. But these are the best because you can put smoothies in it. Like the covers have holes in it. You can put a straw in it, and it's to go, and it's repurposed. Pickle jars. I have like my kids
just for the listeners
like
because they can't see, but Ellie is drinking out of a
like one of those like what are they called? Mason jars.
Mason jars. It's called a mason jar. Yeah. What was very interesting is that I started doing things that I never anticipated I would do. Like I don't use aluminum pans anymore because I think all of a sudden I started having brain space for, I guess some people could say, important things in life. Like, oh, wait, we're eating out of a lot of aluminum. I'm not telling anyone they should do this, but we're eating out of a lot of aluminum. I wonder how much aluminum we're consuming. And then I researched that. I was like, this is really interesting. And I have time in my life to wash glass, Pyrex dishes. So let me do that
because you have
now.
so few of
and
them.
I feel like, right, exactly. So it was very interesting, actually. I started being more conscious of the environment. A lot of interesting things happened, by the way. More conscious of the environment. I had more time for reading. Like I used to not like reading at all. I thought it was a waste of time. Why did I think it was a waste of time? Because I should be cleaning and tidying instead of reading, right? But now I don't really have much cleaning and tidying to do, so I can read. I learned a lot about myself. I started taking courses, like to develop. I became a professional photographer, actually, for a bunch of years because I took a course in that because I had time for that. So it was lots of fun.
When did Frum Minimalist begin? When did you think of that name, that idea?
From minimalism itself, not as a name, but as a lifestyle, began about 3 months after I did this. Because what was happening is that I was so bored as a mother with 3 kids that I would go and pick up my kids early. I worked till 1:30, so I would go, and my kids had in Israel we have something called afternoon, like it's optional. They can stay till about 4 p.m. in their day schools. And I was very bored, so I would pick them up when I was finished work at 1:30. I would go and pick the kids up from their preschools, and I would say, come, let's do this, let's go to a park, let's go here, let's go there, let's do fun things, let's make arts and crafts in the home. And they started complaining to my husband at dinner times that mommy picked us up early again today, and we wanted to stay, we were having so much fun in preschool. And so he was like, listen, you got to find something to keep yourself busy with. And so, because I had nothing else to do in the afternoons, and so I started volunteering at my friends' homes and at neighbors' homes, and I decluttered their homes. So I started developing this method by volunteering in people's homes, and I did a bunch of my friends and neighbors' homes. And then what was happening was my calendar was getting really full. Like people started booking me like every afternoon from 1:30 to 4 to come and do it, do this method in their home. And then he was like, you know what, you have to start charging for this. You're being really busy with this, right? And so I started charging. It turned it into a business, and that was where it really started, Frum Minimalism. And I wrote articles about it. The real title, though, began when I wrote an article for Ami magazine for Pesach a few years ago. I wrote an article where I said something like, I'm a Frum Minimalist, and it takes me 1 day to Passover clean, which it does, by the way. So that was the title of the article I wrote in Ami magazine, which is a Jewish women's magazine. And so that was really where the name Frum Minimalist started.
It takes you 1 day to Pesach clean?
Yes. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't have stuff. So all I need to do for Pesach cleaning is clean. Period. Full stop. So I need to go through every single room and just clean it. Sweep the floors, mop the floors. The kids don't eat in their bedrooms. In the main areas of the home, clean it, sweep it, empty out the cupboards, put it back, which takes 10 minutes each cupboard. And that's it. The kitchen, the same thing.
I want to go through room by room very quickly. So bedroom, I have a question. What about all your different sizes? You've got so many different sizes. The what ifs, if I'm going to lose that weight and I'll be able to wear it. Maternity clothes, the fat clothes for after maternity, all those different types of size, all those different sizes. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, but also with the children as well.
Yeah,
they're growing and the turnover.
Kids clothes, kids.
Okay, great. 2 separate categories. You ready? We're going to dive in very, very fast. 2 separate categories. Okay. Women's clothing. Women, as women, thank God, we tend to fluctuate. We have hormones, we have children, we have pregnancies, we have nursing. We tend to fluctuate. So my rule is when you're going to dump out your entire closet. You're going to put it all on your bed. You're going to look at all this stuff and you're going to say, first of all, what do I wear this week that I truly need and love? You're going to pull out all the items that you wear that fit you right now, that are options for you this week. Those are going back into your main area. It's called prime real estate, your main area of your wardrobe, okay? Those are the things that you wear this week in the next 6-7 days that you love. Then you're also going to look at that pile and you're going to say, what do I need for dressy occasions and Shabbos? You're going to pull out 3 to 4 things that you love for dressy occasions and Shabbos that fit you right now. That's going back into your prime real estate, into your main areas of your wardrobe. Now you have tons of piles still left on your bed. What are you going to do? You're going to say, hey, if I was a size this tomorrow, would I be really happy putting this item on me? So if I was thinner or larger tomorrow, would I be really happy with this item? If the answer is yes, then we put it into something called a size fluctuating bin. Because as women, we tend to fluctuate. A lot of us tend to fluctuate between 6 sizes even, right? Myself included. Because Baruch Hashem, that's just life, right? And so we're going to have a size fluctuating bin where anything that if I was that size tomorrow, I would be really happy to put on that outfit. Okay, it's going to a size fluctuating bin. The size fluctuating bin includes maternity, so it includes maternity, postpartum, the clothes for when you're larger, the clothing for when you're smaller as well. It's all going to a size fluctuating bin. You're labeling it size fluctuating. It's going onto the top shelf of your closet so that you always remember that it's there. It's not going into your garage. It's not going into your, I forgot how to pronounce that word.
Say it again.
It's not going into garage.
Well done.
Garage.
It's not going into your attic. It's not going into your shed. It's not going into your storage areas, right? You want to always see it so you remember it exists. Why? Because when you gain some weight, 10 kilo, 5 kilo, whatever it is, I don't want you crying and going to a store now and having to buy clothing because you gained weight. Instead, you should say, thank God, my body's changing, hormones, whatever, pregnancy, nursing, whatever it is. I have options that I love that are in my size fluctuating bin. I'm going to take that down. And when you lose weight, obviously, amazing. If you lose weight, a lot of women, by the way, they don't like keeping their smaller size clothing in there because they feel like if I lose the weight, I want to go and have fun and shop. So if I was much smaller today, I wouldn't want to go into my size fluctuating bin. I would want to go shop. Amazing. Then if that's you, don't keep your smaller clothing. Just keep your bigger clothing. But do not get rid of your bigger clothing if you love them. If you love your bigger clothing, I beg you to please keep it because the most depressing thing is to gain weight and then have to buy clothing again.
Yeah, for sure.
So if there are options and you love them, as a woman of the home, size fluctuating, you get to keep that in your closet. Always see it. It's labeled clearly. I also tell women, bins that you always see, you don't want them to be clear. You want it to be non-transparent so that it doesn't look messy. So you want it to be white or cream or beige or gray. So you're not seeing, so just neat, tidy, labeled size fluctuating. That is for women of the home. Now for children, what do we do with children's clothing? Oh, and then she can also have a second bin. A woman can have a size fluctuating bin and a seasonal bin. Seasonal bin is, if tomorrow, you guys are in London, if tomorrow was boiling hot, would I wear this outfit? If the answer is yes, then that's going to go into your seasonal bin. So as the woman, you have a size fluctuating and you have a seasonal bin, okay? And the question you're asking is if this was today or tomorrow and I was this size, this season, would I love the outfit? Great, gets to keep, but you're not keeping it in your main wardrobe. You're keeping in your main wardrobe items that you're wearing this week and next week. That's all you're keeping in your main wardrobe. Everything else, you're boxing up and you're donating. Out it goes. Anything over there that you're like, oof, I'm not sure. I really don't know. I'm not sure. That can go into your cannot decide bin. You're labeling it cannot decide. In 2 months or 3 months, if you don't miss the items, you're getting rid of the entire box. You're not even going through the stuff. The reason why you're not going through the things is because when we start touching things, we develop oxytocin. Oxytocin is the love hormone. And so as soon as we touch the items, we start being like, ooh, nice, mine, mine, mine. I love it, I love it. Don't even go through it. You haven't missed the items. Take that entire box and get rid of the entire box, okay? So you might have that now when you're doing this initial declutter. You might have 3 things. A size fluctuating, seasonal, and cannot decide. Cannot decide, you're labeling it, and within the next 3 months, you're getting rid of it if you haven't missed it. That's women. Children, what are we doing with children? The same kind of strategy. So number 1, you're dumping out all their clothing on the bed. And then you might have to divide it if your children sleep in the same room and they share the same closet, so you'll divide it according to kid. Okay? And you'll say, let's say you have a daughter named Shira. Shira, what is Shira going to be wearing in the next 2 weeks that she loves, that looks good on her, that I love as her mother, right? And that she loves also, and obviously you have to work with your child, and that are options for her right now. Those are going into her prime real estate. That's going into her main areas of her closet. Okay? Then you're looking at the other things and you're saying, okay, Shira has a bunch of seasonal stuff. that I love. Very likely, if it was boiling hot tomorrow, she would want to wear this outfit. Great, that's going to go into her seasonal bin. Now, you can do this generally for a few kids at the same time. You can have a seasonal bin for all the kids that sleep in the same room, right? And so that's going to go into the seasonal bin that's in Shira's bedroom. All clothing that she would wear if it's the opposite season. Okay, that's going to Shira's. Now you're going to be left with a bunch of other clothing. You're going to ask yourself, is there another child in my family that exists already that very likely, if they were that size, they would wear this item? If the answer is yes, then the clothing is not going into Shira's closet. It's going into that child's seasonal bin. So you're going to put it into that child's seasonal bin. Are you following?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we don't have anything stored in basements or in garages. Like, they're in our prime real estate. They're up high in our closets, in our wardrobes, but we're consistently seeing it. And the reason why I want women to consistently see it is because I want you to remember that you have it, so that when you go for sales now, because, you know, the winter season is ending and everything's going to go on sale, you'll be like, oh, let me buy it for next winter and for 2 years winter. You're reminded, 1 second, I have a bunch of seasonal things already. I don't know if I really need these stuff. And when you're putting away coats in another month or two, instead of putting it in storage, you're putting it inside the next child's. Like, let's say you have Shira's coat and you're saying, she doesn't fit this anymore. Instead of you putting it into storage, it's going to go, you have a daughter named Ayala that's going to fit into Shira's coat next year. So it's going to go into Ayala's seasonal bin. So that next year you're going to pull it out and you're going to know that you have a coat for Ayala.
And what happens if your youngest is like 3, 4 and you...
Okay, great, perfect. So if you don't have currently an existing child that's going to fit the outfit, you say, if I had a baby tomorrow of this same gender, would I be very, very happy with the clothing? Mm-hmm. And if the answer is no, then you're getting rid of it. And you're being very selective. And in general, when we become minimalists, we don't have a lot of stuff. We have 5 to 6 weekday outfits each child in general. Obviously, you can get 10, you know, if it works for you, whatever it works for you. My hope, which again is unfortunate that we're living in such a consumer mentality, but our clothing nowadays is so junky. Most of us are not buying designer, really expensive stuff, right? We're buying Zara, cheaper stuff, right? Even Shein and things like that. My hope is that when you're done with the season, like, your children really wore their clothing. And many times you're going to look at the items, you're going to be like,
it's worn.
It's a has-been. I got to get rid of it. It's just, you know, past its prime. And so, you know, out it goes, and you're going to be really happy that it served you for that season of life.
That sounds really interesting, and definitely something that I can try and get my head around. And I'm really excited to try this. I really, really am, and I can't wait to be back to you how it goes. But what about, let's say, my kids' crafts? They come home every single week. My daughter comes home with a huge bag, Shabbos bag, filled with crafts, and she's very sentimental about them. Very.
I should tell you what I do.
I don't want
And
to.
then I'm
What
really
do you do?
into-
I want to hear, Deborah.
I'll tell you what I do.
Yeah.
Keeping them?
Yep, I keep them for one day. We enjoy them. Like, let's say Shabbos, every week. The bag is like just full with so many things. We keep them, we enjoy them, we show them, we display them. Shabbos table, and then after Shabbos, we put them in the bin.
And your daughter knows that?
Yeah. She
Right.
sees
I
me
love
put
that she
it,
knows
like,
that.
Not
Very good.
like the really, really nice ones or something that...
So what do you do with the really, really
Yeah.
nice ones?
So, but they're not that
Okay, so-
often. It's like for a chag
Right.
or something,
Right.
right?
I love that, Deborah. Exactly what Deborah said. So we enjoy it for that day, that Shabbos, that Yom Tif, that holiday that the kids came home with their projects. We say, wow, amazing, this is beautiful. Everyone says, hooray, 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 and we all enjoy it. And the next day, I want the child to put it into the bin, or at least to know that it's going into the bin. Why? We're building their decluttering muscles. We are training our kids to be okay with letting go. And when you let go of the random little quote-unquote nerdy projects that they made every single Shabbos, right? Which they're not creating this massive, amazing thing that we need to keep. We're training the kids that it's okay to let go. I'm friends with the garbage can. I'm okay with it. I can let go of things very, very easily. And when we do the easy things, then when it comes to harder things, it's going to be easier for your child. Then the special projects, like Deborah said, I say that every child should have about one. I want to describe a size. Let's say an adult shoebox for boots. The size of a shoebox for boots of an adult size. Every child should have about that size of arts and crafts that they're carrying with us through life. So it's going to get very full. By the time your child's 4 or 5 years old, it'll be full already. You're going to look at this collection and you're going to say with your child, what do we really love in this collection? Because we have to make room. We're not going to get another box for you. This is your box until you're 18. This is your box of all your special crafts that you made. And so we're going to go through it and let's figure out what we can get rid of to make room for the new in this container. And we're limiting it to this container, because in life there's always limits. There's always limits with everything we do. There's limits to how much we eat. There's limits to how much we can be on the phone. There's limits to how much we can read. There's limits to when we go to bed. And we're training our kids that limitation is okay. This is the limit for the things, for your treasures, and we're going to limit it And I say something really funny with kids. I say we need to burp the container. Burp is that a British word?
Yeah, it's a British word.
When the container, I like to tell kids, I give courses also to
Give
kids.
it more space.
When we, right, so
Let
we need to make more space. We gotta burp it. We gotta burp it. Let's empty it out. We go burp, 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 empty it out. It's gonna, spit it all out. And then let's look over here and what are we putting back into our container and making room for new things. And so we're training our kids to be okay with it. And that also another very important concept is that if everything is special, if everything my child creates is special, nothing is special, right? If I love every single one of my friends, I have no best friend. If I love every single Yom Tif, which we all should love very, very much, every single Yom Tif, every Yom Tif is special. But is there any Yom Tif that my neshama, what's my neshama? I don't know. My soul, thank you. My soul connects to deeply, right? Everything's special, nothing's special. And so we want to make our children be okay with the fact that not everything that they create is so special. A lot of it is, okay, great job.
Yeah, and also I also find that that's really interesting, but I also find that, let's say, when it comes to Pesach or it comes to Sukkot, so it'll go in the Sukkot box, it'll go in the Pesach box, it'll go in the Hanukkah box, so they're crafts like that.
So she's also limiting. Very clever. Ladies, she's also, I want everyone to listen up to that.
Now you're going to have to start paying me.
That was excellent, though. And I'm going to tell you why I love that also, because instead of coming Sukkot and you're going rummaging through your kids' bins, all the kids' bins to find the Pesach things, the Sukkot things, right? You have it already contained in a bin, labeled Sukkot. You know where it is. You know that it exists. And again, it's contained. It's limited. So if you have more children or if your children create bigger projects, this is the size. This is the size, and we're limiting all of our Sukkot crafts to this size container. That's all. End of story. And we got to get rid of some in order to make room for the new.
What if your husband is not on board?
Okay. This is number one.
I'm not saying this that people are going to start thinking that my husband's neater than I am. Okay, so he would be completely on board to this. But I'm thinking about the woman that's husband might not be on board.
This is literally the number one question I get. Okay, what is the biggest rule that I teach? And oh my gosh, the past couple of times that I did talks, we forgot to say this at the beginning. The biggest rule that I teach is you may never ever declutter someone else's things. I make the women that I give live classes to repeat this to me because I want to make sure they knew this. You may never ever declutter other people's things. What do we do about that? We create something called a clearly defined space within reason for that person's things. Okay? Now, there's a lot of rules, and I'm going to break this down super quick because we have only a few more minutes. I'm going to break this down super quickly, what the rules mean. Okay? Other people's usually begins from the age of 8, 9, 10. You have to know your child. Some children, even older, 12, 13, is when they are fit into this category of other people's things. Okay? So we give them a clearly defined space. So it's clearly defined. The same way with the container, right? It's clearly defined. Space within reason. Reason for you as the woman of the home, and reason for them as this teenager or adult or husband in the home. So it has to be reasonable. So if your husband collects, I love saying this analogy, if your husband collects antique cars and you say, hey honey, you get to have one shelf in the garage for your antique cars, that's not reasonable. He collects antique cars. He's a mechanic. He needs an entire garage to be able to store all of his antique cars, right? Within reason might be for your teenage child, you might say you get to have 4 shelves of a closet. Or you might be able to say, if it works for your home, you get to have an entire room for all your things. Again, it has to be within reason for your home, your lifestyle, your family. Okay? So for my husband, who was here she goes, one of her crazy things she's doing, within reason was, I didn't need a playroom anymore. I didn't need the playroom anymore. So I was like, you know what, honey? We're going to put all your sfarm, he's a rabbi actually, we're going to put all your sfarm and everything that belongs to you. He has a desk and chairs, but all that is going into the playroom. We're turning this playroom into a study for you. So you can keep all your extra things also, anything that's not within reason. That, right, let's say anything that anything that I feel like is clutter that belongs to you that is not reasonable for you to keep in the communal spaces, we're going to put into your space. And so anything really extra went into his study. Okay, that's within reason. Now for another one of my daughters, she a year after I did this whole thing, she started being like, Mommy's the Frum Minimalist and it's so silly and I don't like it, right? And I was like, no problem. You get to keep whatever you want. I don't mind. I'll give you 2 shelves in your closet. So I gave her 2 shelves in her closet. I labeled it Aviva stuff, and she got to put whatever she wanted in her stuff in this space. Now what happens? Always, and guys, every year I can say this way more confidently than the year before because this always happens. It's mind-blowing to me. Is all these skeptical husbands, they end up realizing how magical and amazing this is for their wives. They all end up coming and joining us, on our side. 1,100%, guys. And I can say this so confidently now. They all end up joining us. They love it. What happened was about 3-4 months later, my husband was And I remember I always say the same exact words he said because this was literally what happened. He's like, Shaz, help me! And I came running to that study with garbage bags, and I was so excited. But do you know why he trusted me? Because I never got rid of any of his things. And so in our closet, I gave him half the closet. He got to keep whatever was reasonably fit inside the closet. Anything that overflowed went into his study. And that was that. And if you wanted to keep extra things in the living room, no problem. It doesn't belong in the living room. It belongs in your study because that's your clearly defined space within reason for our home. And so if, let's say you have a husband who loves cooking, clearly defined space within reason might be to give him 3-4 cabinets inside your kitchen to keep all of his things. But he doesn't get to keep his stuff all around your kitchen in an overwhelming way. Right?
And it just gives them that limit. That's amazing. And
exactly.
To end off here, what would you say to somebody who's listening to this and maybe is feeling a little bit overwhelmed, thinking, whoa, this sounds amazing, but I just can't do it. It's too big. Can you give that person that is just sitting here thinking like, it sounds amazing, can you just come and do it for me? One thing that they can do today, that they can do that's really, really, really small, that can just start the process and just maybe show them that it's not so hard.
Okay, so you could take my advice and just do this to one drawer, but I want you to do this to an entire room. And that's why I'm giving you the task of starting with your own bathroom, the bathroom that you as the mom of the home use. So if it's your master bathroom, if you use the main, the bathroom that you use. The reason why I'm saying bathroom is because in general, there's nothing sentimental or expensive in your bathrooms. And it's a small space in general. It's a pretty small space. Like we don't have bathrooms that are the same size as our living rooms, okay? I want you to go and do my 3-step method to your bathrooms. You're going to empty out all the contents of your bathroom. Again, if this sounds overwhelming, do it to one cabinet or one drawer of your bathroom. But I would like you to do your bathrooms. It's very doable. It takes about an hour. I think most women, I know because I've been doing this years and I've coached and taught hundreds, probably closer to 1,000 by now.
You've written a book about this as well, right? You've written a book about this.
I've written a book about this as well. Yes, I've written a book about this. And in the book, I say start with the bathrooms. In my course, I say start with the bathrooms. The reason why is because you're using the bathroom multiple times a day. You're taking a shower there every single day. You're getting ready every day, chances are, in your bathroom. And so when you simplify your bathroom space, it's going to have ripple effects on every single area of your home. So you're going to empty out all the contents of your bathroom. You're going to pretend that somebody went and they took all that stuff. Now you're cleaning your bathroom because it hasn't been empty in probably years, right? You're going to clean out the bathroom well, and then you're going to look at all that stuff. Somebody took it all. Oh my gosh. What are you going to go chasing the guy down the street? Hey, give that back to me. Give that back to me. So you're going to say, I need shampoo. Give it back to me. I need conditioner. Give that back to me. I need body wash. Give that back to me. I need one toothbrush. Give it back to me. I need one toothpaste. Give it back to me, right? There's not going to be a lot of items that you're going to be wanting to use your energy chasing him down the street to get back. Very few. And you're going to simplify your bathroom so significantly. It's going to be amazing. The ripple effects are you're already going to feel it instantly. The next time you use the toilet, the next time you use the loo, you're going to feel that. The next time you take a shower, you're going to feel it. And I think that what it does, it has such a positive effect on your day-to-day life that you're going to want to take that motivation and apply it to the rest of your home. But first, do your bathroom. That to me is number one tip. And be very selective. And by the way, like I said, if you're not sure about something, I'm not sure. Do I need it? Do I not? That's going to go into a cannot decide bin, labeled 6 weeks. If you don't need it by 6 weeks, out the entire bin goes. But be very, very selective about it.
Ellie, we are so grateful for taking the time to come on. Ellie reached out, by the way. So anyone who wants to reach out to us, share their story, please reach out. Ellie, we are so grateful that you came on to Spotlight. I think that there's so many things that even if we take one small thing from it and literally just do our bathroom or just anything, and even just realizing that not everything has to be in our house, and we can declutter our minds, declutter everything whilst you're Pesach cleaning. It's the best time to do it, right?
Yeah. And there's another way as well.
Anyways, and ladies,
there's another way. There's a new method.
I'm sorry?
There's a new way.
There's a new way. There's another method as well.
And ladies, you're anyways, by the way, when you're Pesach cleaning, you're anyways dumping out everything. You're anyways taking it all out.
Literally
Once
the time.
It's out,
yeah.
Yes. Once it's out, look at the stuff and say, somebody took it all. Now I have to go. This is another. I want to try to give you so many visuals.
Can I give you one? I have a good one.
Yes.
You traveled, you traveled and you lost your luggage. So now you have to go to the store. You're about to go to Pesach program. You're about to go to the store and you have to buy now things that you'll be able to survive, the bare necessities to be able to survive. So what will you buy? You'll literally buy three dresses. You'll buy this, you'll buy that.
I love that. I love that. Yes, thank you. So I say, like, what are you willing to rebuy into your life? And I love that even better. I'm going to start using that.
Good.
What are you willing to buy?
You also need to get paid.
And what are you willing to buy back? and you're going to buy the bag, you're going to put it back, it's going to enhance your life so tremendously, so drastically. If anyone does this, you all should. Anyone who's listening should be going.
I'm doing this.
Please be in touch with me, Ellie at FrumMinimalism.com. I'd love to hear your journey. And also, I want to tell your listeners, if they have a hard time letting go of things, it's free. I have a really good ebook on my website. It pops up as soon as you go to my website. But it's so hard to get rid of things, and it helps you with the emotional aspect of being able to let go and trusting that God provides for us. He always provides for us. He will never leave us alone. He always takes care of us. And when we get rid of things, if we ever need it in the future, He will take care of us.
Amazing.
It's very deep stuff, but you're welcome to go check that out on my website. It's free. Anyone can go grab one. Maybe you guys can link it also for your people.
You can check out Ellie Azarad's book on Amazon, Frum Minimalism, Your Guide to Simplifying Your Home and Life, and check out her courses online. And check out her website, frumminimalism.com, for her courses and lots of freebies.
Perfect. Okay, perfect.
And
thank you for doing
Thank you for coming.
It's been such fun. Take
so
care.
fun. Great to meet you and see you in London.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode on Spotlight. If you were affected by any of the challenges we have discussed, then please visit www.mtom.org.uk/podcast for guidance on where to find help.
Do you also have a story to share? Be in touch if you'd also like to be a lifeline for others by sharing and empowering women across the world. Podcasts at mtom.org.uk.